Now, let us understand the control panel. Let us now begin from the extreme left. The first key is the off line as shown here. This key is the off line, which is useful whenever you need to pause the embossing or temporarily stop the printer. To resume printing, you can press now the on line and the Braille printer would continue to emboss from where it had stopped. The next key is the form feed key. Pressing this once takes the new page to the start position. The next key is the help key. Pressing this once, it announces the model and the firmware version. If you press this 2 times, then it prints the settings of the Braille printer in letter graphic form.
Help. Basic firmware 11.1.1 setup A loaded. Help.
The next set of keys is the print mode keys. These are 5 keys such as normal, single-sided, double-sided, reformatted and ZFolding. These keys are generally not in use if you are using the WinBraille translation software. These keys can be used whenever you are using another translation software like Duxbury. For more details, please refer to the Index User Manual or the Karishma Enterprise Shortcut Guide provided along with the printer. The next set of keys are the copy function keys. These are repeat, multiple, 1 and 10. These keys come in use when you have already given a command of translation from the computer and there is the data in the memory buffer of the Braille printer. In case you have already produced a document and you wish to produce one additional copy, then you can press the repeat key twice quickly like you would do in a mouse click. The multiple key is used when you need to take more than one copy. Say example, if you needed 13 copies, then you would need to press the 10 key once and the 1 key 3 times to get the set of 13 copies. A detailed explanation on use of these keys shall be explained to you little later. The next set of keys are the default setup keys, that is A, B and C. Here you can make different kinds of settings depending on the grade or contraction that you need, the paper size or the spacing that you would require in each one of your requirement of documents for printing. The benefit of having 3 different settings is that you don't need to every now and then change the setting depending on your requirement, and you could have these available to you immediately whenever you need them. The next key is the setup key. Pressing this once will open the setup menu, and pressing it again would save the settings that you have made changes in the setup menus.
Change setup A group paper.
These keys are broadly classified into three groups, that is, group, item and value. We have 5 different sets of groups, such as
Group
page layout,
group Braille,
group Braille,
group communication,
group communication,
group option,
group option,
group paper.
and group paper. For each of these groups, there are items which allow you to make choices. For example, here the item key,
Item paper length.
it allows you to modify the paper length. In case we press the value key, then one can modify the length size of the paper.
12 inches.
It announces 12 inches. By pressing this again, it would change the size.
12 and 1/4 inches.
But since the size of the paper length that we are using is 12 inches, we need to revert the setting back to 12 inches instead. To do this, we need to press the multiple key. The multiple key is used to increase or decrease the value settings. For example, in this case, we had brought the length to 12 and 1/4 inches. Now we need to revert it back to 12 inches. So we should press the multiple keys. It says decrease. To bring it back to 12, we press the 1 key, which reduces the fractions, and the number 10 key reduces it by a whole number.
12 inches.
The next choice we have for the group paper is the width.
Item paper width.
Now let us check what is the value that has been set in this.
11 inches.
Here, since it echoes 11 inches, whereas the size of the paper that we are using is 10 inches, we need to change this. To do this, we would again have to take the help of the multiple key to reduce it to 10 inches.
Decrease.
Here, since we need to reduce it by 1, we can use the 10 key.
10 inches.
Here, it has now become 10 inches, which is the size we required. Let us now see what is the next group that we have.
Group page layout.
Page layout is the most essential thing that we need to do in respect to the settings for producing Braille. Let us now check what are the options we have.
Item inner margin.
Inner margin,
Item top margin.
top margin,
Item bottom margin.
bottom margin,
Item page number.
page number,
Item page mode.
page mode,
Item outer margin.
outer margin. The outer margin is the margin that is on the right side of the page when you are using an odd number, or to the extreme left of the page when you are using an even number. These can be changed by pressing the value key as per your requirements. The next option
Item inner margin.
is inner margin. The inner margin is the margin that is towards the binding area of the page, and this again can be changed by pressing the value key. The next item is
Item top margin.
top margin. Here we need to ensure that you at least keep the value to 1 so that it is easy for you to put the page number in case you are locating the page number on the top. As mentioned to you earlier, the same can be done by pressing the value key. Now let us go to the next choice.
Item bottom margin.
To change this, we need to press the value key. you can adjust the spacing that you need at the bottom of the page as per your requirements. Now let us see what is the next item.
Item page number.
Page number. This actually is the
Value none. Value bottom.
it's the different locations of the page numbering that you require, whether you need it in the center, top center, bottom center, left or right top, or bottom left or right top. In general, this is controlled by the WinBraille software, and therefore we should keep it at none.
Value bottom left. Value bottom right. Value none. Item page mode.
The next item is page mode. This indicates whether you need two sides or single side, and this can be changed by pressing the value key.
Value double-sided ZFolding. Single-sided ZFolding. Value single-sided. Value double-sided.
In most cases, we normally keep it at double-sided so that there is economy in the use of paper. As you just heard that there were options with double-sided Z-folding. Let us now explain to you what Z-folding means. The Index Basic D Braille printer uses zigzag folded tractor feed paper. There are two different kinds of modes of printing that one can follow. The first is the normal mode, in which you have the first page printed on the first page like this, and then from top to bottom on the second page, and again on the third page it would continue to print on top to bottom in this fashion, and the fourth the same way. Or on the alternative, you can even have it in a Z-folding format. Now what is the Z-folding format? The Z-folding format is the first page comes on this sheet, the second comes on this sheet, but the third, instead of coming on this side, would come on the reverse, and that too from bottom to top, in this fashion. And similarly, the other sheets in continuation to that. Once the entire document has been prepared and brailled, then one can simply tear off the edges from the top and the bottom, remove the side strips, and then simply bind the book by using a spiral binding wire. The next group is
Group Braille.
Group Braille. Here you have a number of choices, and we can see each one of them one by one by pressing the item key.
Item Braille table.
Braille table,
Item reformatted.
reformatted,
Item line spacing.
line spacing,
Item Braille dot distance.
Braille dot distance,
Item graphic dot distance.
graphic dot distance,
Item impact level.
impact level,
Item multiple impact.
multiple impact,
Item Braille table.
and we are back to Braille table. Since these are set standards made by Index Braille, we cannot change them, and therefore we move on to the next item.
Item reformatted.
Reformatted. Here you have a choice to keep it at on or off.
Value off. Value on.
In most cases, this is kept as off.
Value off.
Now let us understand what is reformatted. Reformatted is used whenever you're using a text document without any formatting, and you wish to have a set standard of formatting as offered by the Index Braille printer. In most cases, it would do one spacing indent in a paragraph, one line spacing after every paragraph. In case you wish to retain your own formatting as done on the computer, then this setting needs to be kept in the off position. The next item is
Item line spacing.
line spacing. Here you can alter the number of spaces that you need between each braille line. In most cases it is retained at 5.0, which is understood to be the standard. However, you can modify this.
Value 5.0, value 5.25, value 5.5, value 7.5, value 10.0.
This is kept in case you need to produce larger spaces between the two lines, especially in the case of younger children in KG class or first standard when you're just teaching them Braille. The next item is
Braille.distance.
Braille.distance. Now this means that when you produce Braille, the distance between the dots, that is dots 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, and 5 and 6. Now this can be altered depending on the kind of choice that you need to have.
Value 2.5.
2.5 is the standard. In Japanese Braille it is smaller.
Value 2.2.
2.2, and if you need Jumbo Braille then it's 3.
Value 3.2.
However, in India and our other countries around India, it is always retained as 2.5.
Value 2.5.
The next item is
graphic.distance.
Graphic.distance. This means that the distance between two Braille dots whenever you are producing diagrams or graphics. The lowest that we can go to is 1.6.
Value 2.0, value 2.5, value 1.6.
It is a good thing to keep it at 1.6 so that you get a closer line diagram whenever you are producing graphics.
Item impact level.
The next item is now impact level. Impact level means whether you need it to be a very sharp dot quality or a normal quality.
Value normal, value high.
In most cases it is
value normal.
preferable to keep it at normal, as otherwise it would reduce the life of the hammers of the Braille printer. The next item is
multiple impact.
Multiple impact. This means the number of times the Braille printer would hit at the same location to enable you to get a sharper image in case you are using thicker sheets like plastic or aluminum foils. However, in general, it should always be retained as 1. The next group is
Group communication.
Communication. Here, this option is generally used only when you need to have a serial communication between the computer and the Braille printer. But there are a few other choices that we need to look at.
End or file delay.
End of file delay. This means the delay time that is necessary for transfer of the complete file from the PC when you send it for translation to the Braille printer. And by default, one should retain it at 5. The other items are baud rate, data bits, parity, stop bits, handshake. These items can be ignored as they are only meant for serial communication.
Serial mode.
Zero mode. Zero mode means that you have a choice for putting it in print or service, and by default one should keep it at print as the service option is only meant for the service engineer.
Value print, value service, value print.
The next item is
parallel port.
Parallel port. The parallel port is used only in case you want to have a parallel connection to the computer. If you are only going to use the USB, then one can keep it at the off position. The next group is
Group option.
option. Let us see the items that we have here.
Item volume.
Volume,
Item setup.
setup. You can change the volume
Item volume.
of the Braille printer depending on your choice.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Similarly, the next item is
Item setup.
setup,
Value open.
open
Value locked.
or locked. Here, one can keep it in the locked position to avoid any other person tampering with the Braille printer or changing the settings that you have already made. To lock the settings, we press the value key to the lock position
Value locked.
and then press the setup key to save the settings.
Saving setup A.
Now, if I try to open the setup key, it will not open.
Setup locked. Setup locked.
To unlock the settings, we need to use a combination of two keys, help and reformatted.
Help. Reformatted.